All right, so let's start absolutely up at the top, guys. We're talking about agentic AI security. Everyone's heard the phrase AI agents or agentic AI. Perhaps we should just start with some ground level here. How does your company define that concept?
AI agents are effectively an LLM that sits within a framework, right? You have a web application that connects off to different tools and they do different things. It can be as simple as going to open up an email program and sending an email on your behalf, all the way down to operating something more local and physical within an environment, security systems, locking doors, unlocking doors based on inputs. They have far-reaching applications. So LLMs are powerful, but LLM agents are game-changing.
Okay, and the reason why I think cybersecurity or security in general in an agentic AI context matters is because the thing is doing its own activities. It's executing on its own frameworks per se, but like it's still out there on its own. And that to me, from the layperson's perspective, Aaron, really opens up a lot of worrying security issues. Am I driving down the right road here?
You're exactly right. And really what's happening is we have guardrails that are being developed by the model producers, by the hyperscalers, but really the challenge when it comes to adopting these from an enterprise standpoint, from a corporate governance standpoint, is we currently don't have very many good ways of confirming that those guardrails are working properly.
I'm going to try some big words here. Is that because AI models are inherently probabilistic instead of deterministic, and therefore old methods of testing to see if something is operating as it should don't exactly apply?
Effectively, yeah. And I think Andruis can actually go into a little bit more detail on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the models these days, they're not just models. They're not just answering your questions anymore. They're integrating with all these tools. And you have all of these new protocols coming up, like Model Context Protocol, like MCP, that allows you basically to call all of these tools in a standard way. Now, that gives the model a lot of power. And there is not much validation and security for that power. So basically, they can interact with the databases, they can interact with APIs, and that opens not just new ways of hacking into the systems, it also opens new ways to hacking into the systems using old vulnerabilities. If you have a model, for example, that interacts with a database, you can still use like old school vulnerabilities like SQL injection and basically tell the model to execute the SQL injection against the actual database and get the data that way out of it.
Now, when would that come up? Because when I think about AI agents, I think about someone inside of a corporation setting something up, setting some rules for it, and putting it to work. It's not something that I thought you could do from the outside. So when I think about someone who might want to do SQL injection, I'm thinking about an external person who wants to get in there and cause mayhem. But my view of AI agents was always that they're internally sourced. So Andruis, what am I missing in this picture to make this make sense?
So not all agents are internally sourced. I mean, there are a lot of offerings out there, obviously, that can, call APIs to send an email, for example, like an assistant agent or something like that. So that's an interaction that happens from the public perspective.
So Model Context Protocol allows for interaction with other data and other sources of information, say, and so from them you could have, okay, I understand.
Absolutely. So just MCP is basically what the model calls in order to get the data out of the actual tool. So it's just a way to talk to the actual tool. But you mentioned the private models as well. I mean, obviously, they're not exposed, but there is still an issue there. There is, local user exploit availability. So basically, somebody could still do like horizontal privilege escalations, vertical privilege escalations, and get data that they're not allowed to access to, even if they're an internal employee.
Okay, Aaron, so if I understand this correctly, if I'm using an AI agent and I'm using MCP, which is Anthropic's new framework that everyone seems to really like and people are adopting, to bring in information into my AI context, is there no built-in security there whatsoever? It just brings stuff in and then huzzah, the agent can use it? Because that seems, even from my perspective, relatively insecure.
It's less that there's no built-in security and more that the fact that when you are bringing this information in, your attack surface is now expanded. And there are more things, there are more links in the chain that could have a vulnerability exploited in it. So really, it's just a matter of, well, we used to have something, a Gen AI that was all contained, and all we really had to worry about was, can we make it give us, an answer that is clean or prevent it from telling us how to make a bomb? Whereas now we're really expanding out the different areas of infiltration that can happen. with the advent of NCP and A to A frameworks.
A to A is agent to agent. It's the
Correct.
recent Google standard that allows agents to talk to one another. So MCP connects to applications externally. A to A is essentially an agentic handshake, as far as I can tell.